Okay, welcome back to DC Silver Age story time. And today I'm going to be looking at Superman 125, Superman's New Power. This is November 1958 with story by Jerry Coleman and artwork by Wayne Boring. So, fellow says, Great Scott, I know Superman can fly and has super strength, but his new power is fantastic. I'll have to photograph the effects of Superman's new power, or they'll never believe me. So there's Superman. Looks like he's shooting rainbows out of his fingers. So what is his new superpower? We have, I guess this is supposed to be a little later in the story. Cops are there, and the fellow says, Superman, how can you help us fight crime now that you've lost all your powers? And Superman says, Don't worry, Commissioner. My new power is all I need. Just listen to those crooks around the corner. His new power is the most ridiculous thing. It really is. So he spots a problem, and Lois can feel the building shaking, so he burrows underground and tackles some flames that are shooting up at the core of the earth. And as he's doing his super feat, he spots a midget spaceship. And as he goes to touch it, it blows up. But he reminds himself that he's invulnerable, so there's no problem. As he's going back, he spots some criminals trying to flee in a car. And he says, These rays are coming from my fingers. What can they be? It's Superman. Speed her up and smash into him. We'll just smash up the car, but we might as well try. So they do, and it's quite effective. Which I don't know why he's just kind of knocked around rather than like really badly injured or killed. But he has these rays coming out of his fingers. And the criminals spot the results and say, What's that? I can't believe it. Help, we give up. Take us to jail. Now once you find out his superpowers, their reaction seems a little strange. So a reporter says, You mean he just stood there and this new power reached out and, yeah, just like he said. Just like we said, I know it sounds crazy. You got to see it for yourself to believe it. So Superman has lost all of his powers, maybe, but he's got one new power. So what is his new power? Well, see, a tiny replica of myself. The people who made that spaceship were very advanced in science. They must have developed a force that enabled them to project an image of themselves anywhere they wanted. So he's tackling problems with a tiny version of himself. The only trouble is that my powers have been transferred to that doll-sized replica of the real me. So while I have the new power, it has absorbed all my old ones. You should have seen the way it handled those crooks. So it's kind of confusing. I think that he's supposed to have his superpowers when he's not projecting this little midget. Because he seems to be able to get around. Well, no, that's the midget flying, or the tiny version of him. So I don't know why he doesn't just, if he doesn't like it, just stop using him. But I guess he can't really control it. I'll materialize my Tom Thumb duplicate and concentrate on him to use it. Concentrate on him to use his. So he can control the tiny version. Now, this does not seem to be a superior superpower to the way he was before, because now there's a tiny version of him who seems to be the equivalent to what he was, but he's now completely in danger of being harmed or killed. So it seems like it's not very good. Now, people seem to be really happy. It's terrific. He just hold out his hands and suddenly it appears. So I don't know. Maybe they're not aware that he's losing his superpowers. Although some people are aware, I think. And so we continue to go on. Now, here it looks like maybe he's running along, but that's the way he used to fly a lot of times. So there he's flying kind of in the traditional way, but a lot of times he would just run through the air. But this is, of course, again, the tiny version of him. So Superman is getting more and more upset because tiny Superman is doing all the work for him. Um, don't they realize it's me projecting my thoughts and powers? I commanded that infernal imp to capture those bandits. So we have a mad bomber. You give me that payroll briefcase or I'll blow the whole street up. So the little tiny version of Superman comes out and uses the thread from the fellow's shirt or sweater to tie up his hand. And in this case, Superman did not control him. Although that's what he would have done, he did not control him. So he says, I'm no longer Superman. I'm just a place for that strange form to occupy. I must get rid of it, but how? So he's speculating that this tiny version of him is nothing but a projection. There's no emotions, there's no nothing. Um, a shower of meteorites heading for Metropolis, and one of them contains a kryptonite, a substance that can destroy me. I'll order my image to save the city from the meteors. And if the kryptonite should destroy him, well, that's his tough luck. So he's kind of trying to kill his tiny version. And meanwhile, since kryptonite is everywhere, they use an old-fashioned catapult to launch it at Superman. The kryptonite heading for me can kill me. Already too close for me to get out of its path. Those rays, that imp, he's beating it like rat deserting sinking ship. But no, instead he rides it like a surfboard. It's riding astride the kryptonite, using its last strength, shifting its weight from side to side, throwing the meteor off balance and steering it away. So then he just kind of fades away. So I guess kryptonite can damage him because he's a projection of Superman. Finishes off, the moment the tiny image completely disappears, I have my superpowers back again. I'm my old self. Later, I wonder, did it have a life of its own which it sacrificed for me? Or was it just carrying out my thoughts before I could put them into words? I'll never know. And with that, his tiny version is gone. So that's Superman's new superpower, which is really doesn't seem like an improvement over what he was, but it's over.